Okay, let's start in child's pose. Knees together or apart. Bring your forehead to the floor, stretch out. Bring your awareness to your breath. Feel yourself melting onto your mat. From here, we're going to slide forward into melting heart. So just let your hands slide forward as your hips lift up. Chin or forehead on the floor. Feel this opening up your chest and shoulders. And we're going to go straight into thread the needle. So just slide the left hand back and the right arm under. Coming into your twist. Let's press gently into the left palm to feel a little more of this twist. And let's slide back into melting heart, arms forward. And then into twist on the other side, thread the needle, press into the right palm. Slide back into melting heart. Come all the way onto your stomach. Let's bring the right arm out to the side. Press up onto your right side. Stretch open that right shoulder in the front. Come onto your stomach. Let's stop in the middle and do a little cobra. So just gently lifting the upper body off the floor, engaging the lower back muscles, keeping the glutes and the legs lightly engaged. And lower down, let's bring the left arm out to the side. Press up onto your left side, stretch out the left shoulder. And then roll back onto your stomach. And let's do another cobra. Not working too hard, but just activating the legs and glutes and the lower back to lift up. And then finding your breath. And slowly lower down. And we're going to come into a squat at the top of the mat. So step the legs forward. Sit down in between the legs and let's just relax into this with a rounded spine. Maybe try rolling the weight forward a little bit, bringing the stretch even more into the back of the calves and the back of the ankles. And then roll all the way onto your butt. Let's bring the legs forward and just come into a forward fold. Feeling this, opening up the back of your legs, your lower back. Coming up all the way up your spine into your neck. And let's stack the spine. Coming up. And let's bend the left knee, bring it back behind. So you're coming into a straddle, but your left leg is bent and your heel is up against your glute. And let's contract this right leg, flex the toes to the ceiling, and just bend sideways over the right leg. And then turn to face the right leg. Try to keep that right quad engaged. And then come back up and let's forward fold. You're not necessarily going to come forward that far, but hopefully you're feeling some stretch in the right leg. And come back up, stack the spine. Let's bend the right leg in all the way. And then we're going to bring that left knee even farther behind and pull this foot in to stretch the top of the left thigh. And release the left foot. Let's swing this left leg forward. So this time the left leg is extended. We're going to bring that right knee bent and back. And then let's do this side stretch over the left leg, keeping the left toes flexed to the ceiling. And let's turn face the left leg. Come up. And we'll just do forward pulls straight in between the two legs. And come up, let's bend this left leg all the way in. Bring the right knee farther back and pull the right foot into towards your right glute to feel that stretch in the right quad. And release the right foot. Let's swing the right leg back around to the front. And from here, we're going to come into just a low lunge, right foot forward, left knee down on the floor behind you. Sink down into your hips. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee. And then we're going to turn the right toes to the left a little bit until they're facing the corner of your mat so that we can turn to the side and come into a side squat. Flex your left toes to the ceiling, press into your right foot, kind of lengthen your spine. Place hands on the floor, switch sides. Now we're going to turn to face the back of the mat in that low lunge. Back knee on the floor, sink into your hips. Let's lift the back knee off the floor. Again, put the left toes towards the right corner of your mat. Come into your side squat at the back of the mat. Again, trying to press into the left foot to lengthen the spine. And let's switch sides. Let's face the front again in our lunge. Keep the back with knee lifted. And let's set the back heel down for warrior one. So we're going to keep the hips facing forward, but the back foot is like it would be in warrior two. So come straight up, arms lifted. It's basically a high lunge, but with the back heel set down. So keep trying to bring that left hip forward, right hip back. Lift up and out of your waist. Now lift up onto the ball of your foot, turn to your right, twist, arms open, parallel to the floor. Come back to warrior one, face forward, pivot the back heel down, and come into warrior two, opening out to the left side. Reverse warrior. Warrior two, straighten the front leg, triangle, shift your hips back, lift your left arm high. Keep your arms how they are, bend the front knee, come into our front triangle with the bent knee. Reaching that left hand down to the floor, but try not to put any weight on the floor. And then come back to our low lunge. Let's step back into plank and step the left foot forward. Set your back heel down, warrior one, lift up, hips square. Let's lift up on the ball of the back foot, twist to the left. Face front, bring the back heel down, warrior one. Open up to the right, warrior two. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two, straighten the front leg. Triangle, kick your hips back. Arms come perpendicular to the floor. Use your core strength here. Reach up through your right fingers like there's a string tied to your fingers and it's lifting you up. Now bend the front leg, keep your arms how they are. So just lightly touching with the left fingertips on the floor and still reaching up through the right fingertips. Face the floor, low lunge. Step back into plank. Hold here for a few breaths. Keep your abdomen pulling in, strong legs, reach back through your heels. And let's bring the knees down and come into child's pose for a few breaths. Let's go through that sequence one more time. Step your right foot forward. Lift the back knee off the floor. Set the back heel down, come up to warrior one. Keep your hips squared to the front. Lift onto the ball of the back foot and turn to your right, arms parallel to the floor. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg, triangle. Bend your front knee, triangle. Face the floor and step back into plank. Step your left foot forward. Back heel down, warrior one. Lift the back heel, turn to the left. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Triangle. Bend your front knee. Come down low. And face the floor. Step your left foot back, plank. Hold for a few breaths. Bring the knees down, but instead of coming into child's pose this time, let's separate the feet. See if you can bring your hips down in between your feet to the floor. If you can't bring your hips all the way to the floor, that's fine. Just come down as far as you can. That's comfortable for your knees. Make sure that your heels are touching the sides of your hips so that there's no space there between the legs, lower legs and the upper legs. If it's comfortable for you to sit here with your hips on the floor, then you can start to bring your upper body back, which will intensify this a little bit more. And let's come all the way forward, bringing weight off of the legs, and then sit back onto the heels. And from here, we'll swing the legs into the front. Keep your knees bent up, setting up for a reverse tabletop. Fingers pointing forward. And lift your hips. Squeeze your glutes, reach your tailbone forward. And slowly lower the hips. And let's bring the legs out wide, come into forward fold. Stack your spine. We're going to do shoelace. So bend the right leg in, that knee right in the center facing forward. Stack your left knee on top. So eventually the goal is to have your knees stacked, legs in, but if they're not quite stacked today, that's totally fine. The actual goal is to stretch your hips on the outside. So as long as you're feeling a stretch there, doing it right. If it feels good to bring your upper body forward a little bit, then come into a forward fold. Come up, release your legs. We'll do reverse tabletop again. So plant your feet, plant your palms, lift your hips. Bring your hips down, legs wide again, straddle, fold forward. Stack your spine. This time bend your left leg in first. Stack your right knee over your left. I do hold my feet in place a little bit because they like to wing out. And again, if it feels like you're getting enough of a stretch sitting up, that's great. Otherwise, start to fold forward. Couple more breaths. And let's stack the spine. We're gonna end, shake your legs out if you'd like, with frog pose to get the inner thighs. So I'm gonna come onto your stomach. And I'm actually gonna face sideways so my knees stay on the mat. But toes can be together or a little apart. Knees come wide out to the sides and come down to your elbows. And just let the weight of your hips sink down, stretching open the inner thighs. And remember, you can experiment with how far forward or back you are with your hips. Just be aware that you don't want to feel this on the outside of the hips as a compression. You want to feel this on the inside of the hips as a stretch. And everybody's hips are shaped differently, so this posture is probably going to look quite different from person to person. Take a couple more deep breaths here. And let's just slowly, gently slide forward to come out of this. And then coming back to seated, we're going to come into Savasana. So just lie down on your back on your mat. Legs and arms relaxed by your sides. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath. Let everything relax onto your mat. If your mind is wandering, bring it back to your body. Watch your abdomen rise and fall and relax with your exhales. Start to deepen your breath. Move your fingers and toes, hands and feet, arms and legs. If you'd like, bring your arms over your head for a full body stretch. Then either turn onto your side and push up or roll on your spine back to seated.